All right, here we are for Genesis 1:5. Let's start with the reading. 創世記1章5節。神は光を昼と名付け、闇を夜と名付けられた。夕となり、また朝となった。第一日である。One more time. 神は光を昼と名付け、闇を夜と名付けられた。夕となり、また朝となった。第一日である。Okay, 解説。Let's take a look at the red part here. 神は光を昼と名付け、闇を夜と名付けられた。Okay, I've translated this as God named the light day and the darkness night. You should by now know 神は光を if you've watched the previous videos in the series. If you haven't, go ahead and check those out. Okay, then we have 昼, which is a final high-pitch accent word. It means day or noon. Okay, so 昼 goes up at first and then it comes back down with the particle. 昼と Okay, then we have 名付け named and 名付け. Please see the Genesis 1-2 video regarding the mas stem. Okay, this is the mas stem of the verb 名付ける. 名付ける is an ichidan verb. This comes from 名をつける. So 名をつける just means to attach a name to something. And in this version, 名付ける, the particle has been dropped. And because the na and tsukeru have been smushed together, we get a dakuten. These little dots here, dakuten, which tells us that this goes from an unvoiced consonant to a voiced consonant. So, na o tsukeru, nazukeru. Okay, very common when we put two words together in Japanese. Okay, then we have yoru, which means night. And then finally, at the end of the sentence, we have nazukerareta. By this point, you should be able to figure out what this is. Okay, so let's just go back and look at that in the context of the sentence. Okay, so we just learned that nazukeru is an ichidan verb, which means that in order to put this into the honorific form, we change the ru to rareru, which means nazukerareru becomes the honorific form of this verb, the honorific short form. And then that becomes its own ichidan verb, nazukerareru. And then we just change the final ru to a ta to make it past tense. So this is all stuff we've done so far in this course. Okay, so at the end of the sentence, we have nazukerareta. So God named, and we're showing honor to God, who is the subject that does the action of naming. Okay, that gives us 神は光を昼と名付け、闇を夜と名付けられた. As God named light day and the darkness night. Although you might have already figured this out, I guess I should explain that when we use nazukeru, we need to use to after the name that we're giving the thing. So 光を昼と名付け. Okay, so named the light, 光を takes the o particle. What did God name the light? 昼と. So remember, to can be used to indicate quoted speech. So it's very similar to that. It's like, what did he name the light? 昼と. You're kind of quoting 昼 in this case. So it kind of is the same in English too. You have the quotation marks on day and night because those are the names being given to the light and the darkness. Okay, moving on to the next section. Let's look at the red part again. 夕となり、また朝となった. Okay, I've translated this as it became evening and then it became morning. Okay, so we start here with yu, which is flat pitch. Yu, which means evening. This is not very common in speech. Usually you're going to hear yugata in speech. Yu sounds much more literary. Okay, then we have tonari. The accent here is nari, nari, tonari. This comes from tonaru. Naru is a godan verb that means to become. Okay, so I hope you recognize that this is a mas stem of tonaru. So when we combine these, yu tonari, we get it became evening, and we know that the sentence is going to continue, right? Because the mas stem has a conjunctive function. Okay, then we have mata, which means and then in this case. It does have other meanings, but in this case, and then is a good way to translate it. Asa, morning. Asa, tonatta. It became morning. Please refer to the Genesis 1-3 video regarding the past tense short form of godan verbs. All right, so we put this all together and we get yu tonari, mata asa tonatta, meaning it became evening and then it became morning. For now, I wouldn't worry about the structure here. It is indeed a particle to and a verb naru, but I would just learn it as tonaru, which means to become. The word that comes before to here represents the new state of whatever we're talking about. So, you evening is the new state of the world. And that leaves us with 夕となり、また朝となった. Translated as it became evening and then it became morning. All right, we're on to the final section here. Okay, so we have 第一日である. I've translated this as this is the first day. This is not actually anywhere in the text. There's actually no subject here. So this is actually implied more than anything. Okay, we can break this into several parts. Okay, we have 第. 第 is used to indicate that a number belongs to a sequence of numbers. Okay, so it could be used like 4th, 5th, 6th. You can think of it as functioning like the th in these words. Another example is 第三課, which is the third chapter of a textbook. Then we have 一日. This is a final high-pitch accent word when it's not used as an adverb. Okay, so 一日が一日を一日に, etc. When it's used as an adverb, it basically means all day and it becomes flat pitch. So 一日働く, to work all day. Okay, finally we have である. The accent on ある is as you see here. This just means is. If you've studied Japanese at all outside of this course, you're going to know です. Des is basically the polite form of だ, and である is the literary form of the two. So it's used in this case because we're dealing with a text. You're hardly ever going to use this in speech. But it has the exact same meaning as です. Okay, so very short section here. That leaves us with 第一日である. This is the first day. Okay, so before we read the passage, I just want to say that you can check out the video description for information on how to support this project and how to take private lessons with me as well. Okay, let's read this and then we'll finish up. 神は光を昼と名付け、闇を夜と名付けられた。夕となり、また朝となった。第一日である。One more time. 神は光を昼と名付け、闇を夜と名付けられた。夕となり、また朝となった。第一日である。Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.